Hi everyone, welcome back to CodeTav Management. So today we will mainly discuss about the JPA one-to-one mapping. So whenever you hit the gate endpoint, so sometimes maybe in your console you have seen like some lazy initialization exceptions is there, okay? Or maybe even OS or some infinite JSON recursion error also you can see. So today actually we will focus on those areas and we'll know what is the background of it. So yeah, so you are not alone. I am there to help you to uh, gain their knowledge for that. So we are going to build a practical relationships like a user to an address and look at the exact difference between the unidirectional and bidirectional mappings. So most importantly, I am going to show you the mistakes developers make with the page type as lazy and why you should never return the JPA entities directly in your REST APIs. So first of all, see, this is the unidirectional mapping. So here we will discuss what is the unidirectional mapping, what is the foreign key, how the foreign key is getting generated. Okay, so let's start with the basic. So unidirectional mapping. So unidirectional mapping, this means only one entity knows about the other. So think of a user detail, right? That class that holds what? User address you have seen. So here we have the user details class that defines the table underscore details. And here ID is the primary key, and also there is one-to-one relationships between that user detail to user address, right? For per ID, one address will be there. Clear? So by default, Hibernate creates a foreign key column. The name will be like your field name underscore ID. Like here, you can assume like user underscore address underscore ID. So here it creates the user underscore address underscore ID. But if you want professional control over your database schema, then you use the join column. So you can create your custom foreign key. So here you can see the one-to-one and cascade type as all and join column here address ID, then referenced column as ID. And here also user address is being passed, right? So you can see how the custom foreign key is getting generated. Now, if the target entity use the composite primary key, then you must map all the keys columns using join columns. So, like you know about the join column here, and if the compose like for any foreign key or something like that, you can use that. And if multiple join column will be there, then for composite key reference, you need to use the join columns, and inside that, the required columns you can pass, like name, address underscore street. So their referenced column name is street. Next is address underscore pin code. Then the referenced column is pin code, right? So that's the point I was actually trying to tell you. Now I will discuss about the magic of the cascading. So there are basically several types of cascading. So now look at the cascade equals to cascade type.all. Here we have mentioned, right? So what does it mean? So cascading answers like one question, like what happens to the child when the parent changes? So if I save the user, should Hibernate automatically save the address? Yes. So as the user is the parent and child is the address, so if we will save our parent, then child will be also saved. But cascade type.all, that is very dangerous in production. Like if you delete a user, then it deletes the address too. So what if multiple users share a company address? So boom, you just deleted the data you needed. So in real world projects, the safest balance is cascade type.persist and cascade with the cascade type as merge. So what persist defines? So it saves the child automatically when parent is saved. Next is merge. So update the child automatically when parent is updated. Next, remove. So delete the child automatically when parent is deleted. So this persist, merge, remove. Here you can say child will follow automatically what parent does. Now refresh. Refresh means reload the child from the DB when parent is reloaded. Detach, like stop the tracking of child when parent is detached. Next, all. Then applies all for above. All the things will be applied. So this is the real world best practice. Avoid the CascadeType.ALL and CascadeType.remove in critical systems like your banking systems in productions. Okay, to prevent accidental data deletion. So the safest combination is like Cascade type as persist and Cascade type of merge. Next, what we will discuss? We will discuss about the eager versus lazy loading. So now we enter the danger zone, the fetch type. So there are two types of fetching. First one is the eager. So for by default, for one-to-one mapping, it is the eager loading. And for lazy loading, like one-to-many loading, by default, it is lazy loading. So what does it mean? Like one-to-one is eager. That means when you load the user, Hibernate fires a join query and loads the address immediately. So loads the child immediately using a SQL join. And what the lazy, like for one-to-many, that defines. Like if you change it to lazy, so Hibernate loads the user but leaves a fake proxy object for the address. So it only hits the database for the address if you explicitly call the user.getAddress, right? So here is where API is crashed. So like if you return a lazy user entity directly from your Spring REST controller, the Jackson JSON serializer tries to convert that fake proxy into the JSON because what? Like because the database session is already closed. So it throws the could not initialize proxy, no session. Okay, so that type of issue you will get. So what will be the solution? So the amateur fix is like using the JSON ignore. So JSON ignore is the hack for that. Okay, but what is the professional way? The professional way is DTOs. So like the data transfer objects. So never return entities. So map your entity to your user DTO in your service layer. Okay. So again, I am telling the important key points like never return the JPA entities directly in your REST APIs. Then JSON ignore is a hack. That's why you can remove this could not initialize proxy that issue, but it is not the professional way. That's the hack. So professional solution is mapping your entities to your data transfer objects. So like class user DTO, here private like string name, string city. Okay. Now what is the benefits of this DTO? So benefits are like it's enabling, it eliminates the lazy loading proxy errors. Okay. Now it solves the infinite recursion problem and it hides your internal database structure from the public API. So you can see like now the bidirectional mapping and what are the infinite recursion problem. So what if the address also needs to know about the user? Like you know from the user like what is the address of it. But from the address, if you want to know what is the details of the user, then for knowing that we need the bidirectional mapping, right? So here you can see you have the user address class. Now, in the one-to-one, you have in the user details, you have this user address object, like one-to-one mapping. And in the user address also, you have one-to-one mapping and user details. But here, we have added one extra thing, mapped by user address. So what does it mean? What mapped by means? So mapped by basically tells the Hibernate not to create a second foreign key here. like by default, Hibernate creates a foreign key, right? So when you will use the mapped by, then it will tell the Hibernate not to create any other foreign key. Clear? So what is the next? Like this is possible, but it causes the infinite recursion problem. What is this problem? So bidirectional mapping causes the JSON serializers to loop infinity, like user to address, address to user, user to address in that way. So what is the background of it? Like Jackson tries to serialize the user, which has an address, which has a user, which has an address, like that, forever until your app runs out of memory. So to fit this modern age, you need to use the JSON identity input on your class. So here you can see the generator is like object ID generator, the dot property generator dot class, and property is ID. Okay, so this tells the Jackson to track the objects by ID and stop looping. Okay, so through the property we will track that, as our property is ID here. So through the ID we will track that and we will stop the looping. Now, for some interview type of frequently asked questions, I have added some points. So, like if you want to ask, like, should you expose the JPA entities in the REST API? So, answer will be never. Always map them to DTOs, never to the JPA entities. Next is, should you use the cascade type.remove? So, no. Avoid the cascade type.remove and cascade type.all. Why? Like in production system to prevent the accidental data loss. Now, the next question can be like, the does bidirectional mapping create two foreign keys? No. The mapped by attribute, here you have seen, right? The mapped by we have used. So if we will use the mapped by attribute, so that attribute ensures only one table holds the foreign key. So now, why do the lazy loading and Jackson crash? So because Jackson tries to serialize the um uninitialized proxy outside of the Hibernate session. So as that is uninitialized, so uh, it got crashed. Okay, so returning the lazy loaded entities through the REST controller will cause the Jackson's realization errors unless handled properly. So I think this video will be helpful for you for your upcoming interviews. Okay, and if you want to know more from this topic, anything, any topic, any discussion required, then just comment below. And for motivating me, do like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Um, so I hope this tutorial helped you like clean up your API responses. So for that also, like hit the like button and subscribe for more advanced Spring Boot masterclasses. Okay. So thank you everyone for staying with me. We will meet again in the next session.